The IKEA Business Network is now open for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Join for free today to get access to interior design services to help you make the most of your workspace, employee well-being benefits to help you and your people grow, and amazing discounts on travel, insurance, and IKEA purchases, deliveries, and more. Take your small business to the next level when you sign up for the IKEA Business Network for free today by searching IKEA Business Network.
This is Optimal Work Daily, episode 1402, The Side Hustle Emergency Fund, Part 2, by Kevin Ha of financialpanther.com. And I'm your narrator. My name is Dan, and today's post, if you heard yesterday, you already know this, is part 2 of a longer post. So if you haven't listened to the first half yet, I would recommend going back and listening to yesterday's episode first. That's Thursday's episode, 1401. But if you're caught up, let's get right to part 2 and continue optimizing your life. The Side Hustle Emergency Fund, Part 2, by Kevin Ha of financialpanther.com. Here's how I've set up my side hustle emergency fund over the years. Airbnb. I started hosting on Airbnb over 2 years ago and have built up hundreds of reviews. I know that I can rent my guest room out and generate $500 to $1,000 per month. If I wasn't working, I could rent it out every single night since I now have the time to flip the room each day between guests. This one room could cover my mortgage most months, and getting guests to book isn't a problem because I have so many reviews built up over 3 years of hosting. Rover. I've been dog sitting on Rover for so long now that I have a good base of repeat clients that I can count on to book with me each year. I should always bring in somewhere between $100 and $200 per month, and presumably I could increase that amount if I was willing to watch more dogs at once, which I'd probably do if I had to. And with so many 5-star reviews, I usually have no problem finding new clients. Postmates, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. If I wasn't working, I could easily work on all of these apps and generate $100 per day. Since I've done all of these apps for so long, my efficiency on them is very high. Wag. With over 170 5-star reviews, I'm now in a position where I can get a steady amount of Wag walks. I also have preferred status with a lot of dogs, and depending on how often I wanted to do walks, I could probably make enough to cover a lot of expenses just with Wag. And Bird and Lime. Depending on when in the year we're in, I can easily bring in an extra $500 to $1,000 per month from charging scooters in my house. And my efficiency level has gotten much better as I've spent the time learning the ins and outs of this gig. The important thing is that because I've put in a lot of the groundwork already, I can turn to any of these sharing economy and gig economy apps and start earning income immediately. When the next downturn happens, a lot of people are going to turn towards these gig economy apps to try to make ends meet. But if you've been spending time creating your side hustle emergency fund, you'll already be ready to go. All you have to do is just turn on your phone. Benefits of the Side Hustle Emergency Fund. Number 1, you don't have to dig into your cash savings. The biggest benefit of the Side Hustle Emergency Fund is that it makes it so that you don't have to dig into your savings. Instead of pulling out money to cover your expenses, you can stretch your savings longer by simply earning most of the income to pay for your expenses. You can stretch your savings longer by simply earning most of the income to pay for your expenses. This has the added benefit of making it so that you might not need to keep as much money in your emergency fund. A 3-month emergency fund might last 6 months or indefinitely if you have a side hustle emergency fund covering some or all of your expenses. 2, diversifies your income. One of the odd things I've noticed is that a lot of people will tell you that you shouldn't put all of your eggs in one basket. Yet those same people will only have one source of income, all earned from their 9-to-5 day job. Just like diversifying when it comes to investing, it makes sense to diversify your income sources as well. If you lose one income source, you'll at least have some other income sources to hold you over so that you don't lose 100% of your income generating power. 3, no wait time to start earning income. While these sharing economy and gig economy apps do allow you to earn money basically immediately, they still require a ramp-up period. If you're just starting out on Airbnb or Rover, you'll start off slow because you need to take some time to build up your reviews. When you start doing deliveries or charging scooters, you'll be worse at it early on just because you're still learning how to do these gigs efficiently. But when you've been doing these sort of things for years, there's no ramp-up time. It's just a matter of turning on some apps and doing it. 4, the Side Hustle Emergency Fund keeps you busy. I haven't personally had any extended period of job loss yet, but I know one thing. If I were to lose my job and had nothing else to do, I'd be bored out of my mind. Worse yet, I'd start feeling bad for myself if all I was doing was sitting home for 8 hours a day while all of my friends were at work. It's important to keep yourself productive, and having a side hustle emergency fund is one way to do that. And 5, keeps you mentally healthy. One of the issues a lot of people have is that their big-time job is their identity. There's an idea that some things are beneath you when you get wrapped up into your identity, so if you're forced to do them, you can start having problems. But if you spent time building your side hustle emergency fund, you've been working at these quote-unquote low-level jobs for a while now. When you're forced to lean on them more, it won't feel like you're taking a step down, or at least it'll seem less so. If anything, it'll help you build up that sense of humbleness that's always good to have. Keep the side hustle emergency fund in your back pocket. When you think about it, being able to generate $1,000 to $3,000 of income outside of your day job is a big deal. Depending on your lifestyle, it's possible to cover most or even all of your monthly expenses purely through all of the side hustles that you've been building up in your side hustle emergency fund. This becomes even more likely when you consider that during periods of job loss, you're probably going to naturally cut back on things. For instance, fewer steak dinners, more ramen and PB&J sandwiches. When everyone else is scrambling to figure out how to make ends meet, you'll already be in good shape because you spent some of your spare time building up your side hustling skills. Even better, you probably made yourself more humble by working in the trenches, so you won't feel bad for yourself now that you're out in the trenches with the regular people. So keep that side hustle emergency fund in your back pocket, literally, since all of these side hustles use your phone. Treat it like an investment, something that you're building up over time. It might do wonders for you when you need it. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled The Side Hustle Emergency Fund by Kevin Ha of financialpanther.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever find yourself getting caught up in comparison, seeing the successes of others and wishing your life looked the same? If so, then you know how difficult it can be to manage these feelings. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have, so you can start living your best life. And therapy is for everyone. Even if you haven't experienced major trauma, it's a great place to learn positive coping skills, boundary setting, and personal empowerment, which can have an amazing impact on both your personal and professional life. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/workdaily today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/workdaily. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster, and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. So just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And thanks again to Kevin, who started this blog to share what he's learned about money and side hustling over the years, as well as to document his own journey toward financial independence. It's his hope that his experience and knowledge can help you out in some way, so check out more from him at financialpanther.com. But that does it for today here on Optimal Work Daily. I appreciate you being here for this two-parter, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.